Hi friends, and welcome back to Gardening Suburbia. My name is Amanda and I'm a homesteader here in Cincinnati, Ohio, Zone 6. It is March 11th. It is 70 degrees outside. This is not typical of Ohio nor of Cincinnati. We have had an extremely warm, well, it's not spring yet. We have less than a week until spring, but it is so warm outside. So I am in my garden today because I looked at the radar, I looked at the weather forecast, and honestly it looks like we're gonna stay pretty warm until summer comes. We've got a few days that are in like the 50s, and we've got a lot that are in about the 70s. So my plan, I'm not gonna be going through my garden and getting rid of all of the dead things because we still have a lot of our native pollinators taking their hibernation in the dead things. So what I am doing is I am going to experiment because it is so warm outside. I would not typically plant things outside this time of year, but I'm still learning on how to grow early spring crops, fall crops, summer crops. So today I'm gonna plant some lettuces. I've got a pocket full of lettuces. I'm gonna experiment with some basil just to see what happens. I think I have dill, whole bunch of lettuces, spinach, kale. I should have grabbed carrots. I'm gonna have to go back upstairs and grab carrots because we're like a month and a half away from Easter, and I typically, well, this will be the second year, I was told I needed to bring my Parmesan carrots to Easter again. So I think it would be really, really cool if I could bring homegrown carrots for Easter. Last year I just bought store carrots, which is not a problem. I am making sure that my garden is getting a thorough water because I did not come out in the winter to water things. I kind of just let nature do its thing. But it is time. Things need a drink of water. A lot of the pots are dehydrated, and especially since I'm going to be planting some things, those things need some water. So I'm going to finish up watering, and then we're going to get to planting some things out here in the garden. All right, so this is where we're going to be planting all of our leafy greens as well as the carrots. So everything, we're gonna plant everything in this bed. This bed gets the least amount of direct sunlight in my garden because of these trees over here. A lot of them are dead and dying, so the amount of sun I've been getting is kind of getting to be more because more limbs are coming down and not as many leafy green on these trees. But nonetheless, this is, I think, going to be the perfect place to plant this stuff. Because leafy greens tend to do better with some partial shade. I mean, it's not summer yet, but it has been feeling quite like summer. So yeah, the first thing I need to do is actually get all of my leaf mulch up, and then we can go ahead and plant. And I did bring out my clipboard so I can kind of keep this bed straight, at least a little bit in my brain, and hopefully that'll just make this year go a little smoother. I'll put this up here. All right, so in this bed right now I have a Shasta daisy, which I need to prune back before it starts really putting off blooms. Got some sticks and dirt and a lot of everything else. But most everything should be good. So I'm gonna go ahead and plant in this bed. And I'm just gonna uncover half of the bed because I don't know that I'm gonna need all of it. Some plastic. I top dressed this bed last season before putting the leaf mulch on. So I'm not gonna be adding any compost or amendments. I'm really hoping this year to build my own compost with worms, like a worm farm, I guess, but for compost and compost tea. Haven't quite gotten the time to do that just yet, but hopefully here soon I will. I went to this store called Half Price Books here in Ohio. I don't know if there are probably other places too, but they just have so many different genres. And I went immediately to the gardening section, and this book that I had found at a client's house that I had taken a picture of because I knew I wanted to purchase it, it was just there, and it was like $2. It was awesome. So it's all about worm composting and how to build it and understanding all of the ins and outs. I haven't gotten the chance to read that yet, but I'm going to, and I'm going to make a worm compost because I think it'll be fun. Plus, how awesome. I mean, the amount of compost I think that would make would not quite be enough for the scale that I have. Not that this is a huge garden by any means, but I think I would need something quite large. But don't let me I'm just gonna keep rambling. I only have a little bit more time left. I can see the sun and it's getting ready to go behind my neighbor's house. So I need my seeds, and we need to put some seeds in the soil, put them to bed, and give them a good water, and just cross our fingers that we're gonna get some good stuff here in the next month and a half. So for carrots, I kind of have, sorry, clipboard. I kind of have a pretty average collection. I have some seeds from like 26 years ago. These are going to be fun. This is an experiment. Not doing that today. I have Danvers carrots, New Carota, which I believe is a variety more for hot weather, so I'm not going to be using these guys. I am going to put some bull's blood in there. Yeah. Cold tolerant to 28 degrees. We're going to plant some beets, and we are going to plant, I believe, my little finger carrots, which I have 2 packets of. I might not need all of these, but I will take all of them. So the little finger is this beautiful carrot. They are 3 inches long. And they mature in 57 days, which, if I'm doing my math correct, I think that's going to be enough time before we're having our family Easter. And if it's a little bit before, that's okay. Carrots store really well in the fridge. They even store really well in the ground. Gotta be careful with that though, because critters. But they store in the fridge really well. Wrap them in a towel, put them in a bag. They store well. So we're gonna get some carrots planted. Turn you guys around and finally do this thing. We are gardening. Ooh. Okay. So I think we're going to do a big patch of carrots in the center because these won't need to be harvested quite as frequently as like the leafy greens will. So we're going to do, I'm gonna level this out a little bit. I'm basically going to make 3 trenches, just little wells, about 4 or 5 inches apart. And I'm going to try to space these kind of evenly and not so close together, simply because I want to get as many carrots as I can and not have to thin them too much. And it's not supposed to rain for the next few days, so these should be safe. But I have seen people use boards. I've used boards before to kind of keep the carrots down. You can start them inside. I have seen a few people do that. I've seen them being sold at a few greenhouses as carrot starts. I've never personally done it, so I don't know how, I can't really speak to how well it works, but it is an option to experiment with, which is always fun. All right, I decided I'm gonna add a 4th row of carrots just in case, and that'll be okay. All right. All right, the row next to the carrots, I'm gonna plant some beets. We'll see how this works. All right, last but not least, we have my pocket of seeds. I have a ton in here. Okay, so I am going to be sowing this baggie of wildflowers in and around my backyard, not in my gardening spaces per se, but around some areas that are well trafficked, and needs some pretty flowers. So that's gonna happen, but not right now. I do have a couple of, the mosquitoes are out. Guys, no. I don't like mosquitoes. They're always so bad in my backyard. Anyway, I'm gonna put in some musclin salad mixes. These are just a hodgepodge of different salads mixed into a single packet. So I've got one from Botanical Interest, gonna use. I got a free seed from Baker. It's the Mizuna Benny House She. I've not had this yet, but it is just, it's a leafy green. So we're gonna give this a try. We've got some kale. This is really good. I like adding this to soups, as well as when I need a little like immune pick-me-up in some smoothies. And then I've got another free lettuce. Don't know how to say that. We're gonna try it out. It looks kind of like romaine, which has me intrigued. I don't know if it's super, oh. It literally on the back says a romaine type with long leaves, a crisp center, and white seeds. So I like romaine, so we're gonna try this. And then there's just a whole bunch of more lettuces. What are we going to plant here though, Amanda? That is the question. I think we're gonna do the Baker Creek romaine like lettuce, and then we're also gonna do our musclin mix. I think that's gonna be a good mix in right here. Especially I can harvest these guys, like come and harvest, leave them, let them grow again, and then come and harvest again. Kind of like that with at least the musclin mix. These guys, you could take each individual seed and plant it with enough space to grow a full head of lettuce. So that's always a thought. I'm gonna plant these a little more closely and let them be cut as smaller leafy greens. So let's move on with that plan. I think I'm gonna plant maybe just a handful of these Yeticule, these guys, the romaine ones, right here, and then the rest I'm gonna put over on that side. I gotta bring you guys in so you can see. I feel like these plant with me videos never do justice to how small the seeds are or how big the space is. You can never quite tell, or you guys can't even see the seeds going in the ground. So maybe I'll do a close-up. Has the typical lettuce seed. Isn't that a fun picture? Dirty hand, beautiful clean seeds. All right, let's get these on the ground. What does it say? 8 inches apart for plant spacing. That's a lot. I'm gonna do more like 5 inches apart and plant a few. Alright, so basically all I'm gonna do with these little seeds is just lightly fluff the soil over them. I'm gonna do the same with our bull's blood beets. And I planted my beets in packs of 3 to 4 beets, and I'll just thin 1 or 2 out per, because I have heard somewhere that beets like to grow as like a group. That's what we're gonna do this year. I'm gonna leave this row uncovered just so I can kind of see it while I'm planting on the other side. Alright. I think that's all. Just a little up here. These guys back. We're gonna move our mushies to here to kind of indicate where we planted. All right. Trying to maneuver a camera while planting is hard. Trying to keep it interesting. Plus my garden bed is wiggling about. All right, so musclin mix. We're gonna plant these bad boys in this block. I'm gonna make it a block, I think. Maybe I'll just scatter sow. Should I keep it in nice neat lines or scatter? I feel like I always keep it in nice neat lines. I'm gonna experiment. I'm gonna scatter these guys in this little area and then just tussle the soil around it. So I'm gonna start with my burpee mix because this is from 2021. Seeds do not expire. They can, depending on what seed it is, the germination rate can go down year to year. If they're clay coated, I've heard that they last a year. It could be more, could be less. I think it just depends. Where you keep your seeds, where you store your seeds, will play a lot into how well they last. So I'm gonna plant these guys. We may have poor germination on these, but I'm also gonna be planting this, and this is from this year, so. I'm going back. I'm gonna do the lines. I can't not, I have to. I gotta follow it. Okay, so we're gonna do, what, 3 lines of lettuce. These are a little wonky. My bed's a little wonky. I'm a little wonky. All right. Here, this is what we're gonna do. The shortest line is gonna be this old seed mix. So we'll put it, and I'm sewing these a little thicker because this is gonna be a cut and come again. And then the last 2 will be the newer seeds. If I can get it open. All right, there it is. This is a pretty mix. So we got some brown seeds, some white seeds. I might need to grab more seeds. So there are those. So we're gonna plant these down here for your viewing pleasure. All right. So thick. We're not leaving a whole lot of space. Just sewing them thick because we want baby greens, essentially. Got a pepper seed in here? Oh. That little guy's a pepper seed from last year. And I see a couple more. So we might have some volunteers. I love volunteers. All right, I'm gonna sew some more in here just to fill it out. And I feel like this side was a little light, so maybe this half will be our tell sign. I did already water this bed, but I will come back out tomorrow and I will kind of just re-mist it to make sure that these guys are sufficiently watered. There we have it. We got seeds in the ground for 2025. So I'm going to be sure and add the muslin mix to, and the other one, the Yedicule. Yedicule. To my little garden journal. Although this is kind of like a garden journal, I just tend not to go back and watch my own videos very often. Maybe that there is a reason for that. Maybe it's just because I don't have enough time. This was a muslin mix. And there we have it. Guys, we planted the first seeds in the ground outside for 2025. I am super excited. I want to thank you guys for spending some time with me out in my garden. I know I needed it. There are plenty more days ahead of me where I get to sit outside, get my hands all nice and dirty, get everything dirty, and just kind of get some fresh air, relax. I hope that you guys are thoroughly enjoying the start of the season, because it is coming. And I just want to say thank you guys for joining me. If you guys want to watch any of my other content, I'll go ahead and pop a video up here for you to enjoy until my next upload. As we get into the swing of things, my uploads will become a little more frequent, especially since most of my content's revolved around gardening, and we're getting into that season. So if you guys like the video, please give it a thumbs up. Consider subscribing. It really helps to grow my channel. But I thank you, and I will see you guys in the next one.